Wow. How's it going, guys? This is totally cool. Never did this before. All right, here's the deal. Um, I'm using my laptop as my webcam, and then I got a bigger monitor right to my right so I can read what people are asking. And slow mode is on. Okay, slow mode is on. I don't know if you see that message, but I do. What that means is it's you can only make a comment every 10 seconds, which is actually pretty fast. I'm going to try to keep up if I can, but that's the deal. All right, so let's get started. Let me see what I got here. I'm going to be looking off. I had to use my headset microphone. Uh, what happened to Annetta and the other crowd by Walmart? Oh, what happened to all my other people that I've interviewed? What happened to Doug, who is living out of the van? Okay. Uh, First questions first. Anetta's fine. I just saw her a few days ago. Carrie Lopez had sent a bunch of gifts. I got to pull my sleeves up. And the whole Walmart crew got cleaned out. I got to fix this. There we go. That's a little better. Can everybody hear me? If you can, just throw some information in there. Let's see. All right. Anyways, everybody got kicked out of Walmart. They had a massive police presence, so to speak, and they return slowly one by one. But when they see the cops, the Brown Sheriff Department, because that's county land, that's Sheriff Department land, and which is cool. All right, hold on. Let me go back up to the question. All of the people that I interviewed are, well, they come and go. I don't know when I'll see them. I have no idea. It's just the way it goes. Let me get a little closer. Let me scoot this closer. There we go. Yeah, sometimes I just see them when I see them. It's, there's no schedule per se. It's just kind of the way it goes. And Doug, well, Doug's still there. It, don't take this the wrong way, but he's going to end up dying in that van. And, I started that GoFundMe. Well, he created it. I just passed it on, to all of you. And he's still there. And I mean, honestly, let's put it this way. He's not a one for conversation. I've had, no offense, but I've had better conversations from a tree. He isn't exactly what you would say the most verbal. It's like, yeah, okay, right. It's, well, you've seen it, Okay, hold on a second here. Let me read. I got to switch screens so I can read it. I'm using my laptop, like I said, as my viewer, and my bigger screen, an external monitor right here to not the other crew. Hope you're doing well. Wanted to ask, are there any updates on Doug? Well, hey Blazer. Hey guys, do me a favor. When you pipe in and make a comment, if you wouldn't mind sharing where you're from, what, not the city address, what state, Illinois, etc., Michigan, whatever, and or country. That'd be super cool. And let's see here. What about propane deal? You keep. All right, hold on. Hey, Milford. On the propane thing, there were some legal issues on that. And I do it anyways, although there's some regulations saying that you can't, because the cans are designed themselves are for single use only, which means the tank itself has the valve in the top and then the one on the side, but they're weak and it's designed for one use only. Well, I guess that's why Coleman sells 40 million a year. But yeah, I'm gonna have to shut that down, and it sucks because that is totally been way cool. I got to scroll back up here so I can see what happened. Okay, Blazer. Fletcher says, why you only help people that don't want to change? Well, everybody wants to change. Everybody wants to change, but, if they're in need, they're in need. I mean, that's all there is to that. You're coming in louder and clearer. Okay. Thanks, Dean. That's pretty fantastic. I was kind of wondering about that. This is my first time, guys. First time ever. So I hope everything goes somewhat smooth. Okay, Janice she said the same thing. Yeah, Doug is still there. Basically in the same parking space. My mom's doing great. Mr. Crawl Daddy. Okay. Yeah, she's doing great. She's actually 10 feet away. She's in her bedroom. She's watching on a different device. I wish we could see the chat on the side of you. Well, you're supposed to. I don't even know what to say about that. You might have to click on a button down at the bottom, near the bottom of the video that says, show chat. I don't know. That's my first time, but we'll get it figured out, and that'll be cool. All right, I got to give a shout out to my friend Linda. She's in the United Kingdom, and we've been chatting back and forth. My friend Susan in Australia. But like I said, guys, if you can post, where you're viewing from, Northern New York, Troy, welcome. That's pretty awesome. Okay, Sondra, she lives in Mexico, and she's been watching me from the beginning. Oh, and I want to tell you that I don't know how you did it. Some of the situations are very sad. Yeah. When I see somebody and I say, hey, is it okay if I see you again, if I talk to you? And they're like, yeah, great. But at the same time, I hope that I don't. I mean, think about it. If they're walking down the side of the street, going to the gas station to, hold a sign, that blows. It sucks. You might have to excuse me. My nose is leaking. Let me grab a paper towel. Let me read some more. Oh, I'm sorry. Sondra said she lives in New Mexico, not in Mexico. Blazer from Ohio. Thank you. Cherokee County, Georgia from Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. How you doing, man? Good to see you. New England, Janice. Welcome. San Jose from Jim. Chats, Vegas, Georgia from Milford. That's pretty awesome. Matter of fact, I got married in Las Vegas on 10/10 of 08, I think it is. Yeah, somewhere in there. Nancy from Vermont. Judy wants to say hi to my mom, which is totally awesome. Yeah, she's doing great. She's just hanging out. I got her a new TV for her birthday, and she couldn't read it. That's why I'm on this other screen. When I look to the right here, well, in your case, it might be to the left. I don't know, but it's the only way I can read the displays. Had 12 inches. Wow, Janice. It sounds like when I lived in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. 12 inches was just, that's kind of routine. They have actual machinery to cut the banks and whatnot. When you pull up to a street sign on the side of the road, you got to look. I mean, you really have to look because it can be a mess. All right, we're getting some more stuff. Hey, remember, guys, if you don't want your name in the chat, send me an email. What if this was you at gmail.com? All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. The Milford. She's right in town. She's my neighbor, Chatsworth, Georgia. Judy, Nova Scotia in Canada. How awesome. I've got viewers all over the place. I never knew. It'd stretch out this far. Be Kluber, helping the homeless. Okay, there was just a comment from a V Club bouncer that said, maybe your Salvation Army could help and whatnot. I go there quite a bit. I really do. But no, they're awesome. The Brewster, Nancy, he's chilling with my mom. She coddles him, spoils him. She will not, or he will not leave her side. I was like, oh man. It's like, come on, dude. Grow a set. Let's see what we got. 2 feet of snow in Nova Scotia. No way. Okay, my friend Sandy Femdog, she lives 30 miles from where I went to college. A quick drive. Well, except today it wouldn't be a quick drive because there's ice and wind and, the -5 wind chill. But I went to college. I was there 3 years. I mean, I was there. I lived there 5 years, but I went to college for 3. And she's basically my neighbor. That's pretty awesome. And oh boy, 158 inches so far. That's what 12 is 144. That's 13 feet 2 inches. When they talk about snow here, it's like 4 inches. These people laugh. They're like, "What? 4 inches? That was from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. What are you talking about?" Oh yeah, Nancy, he is definitely spoiled. 50 feet of cold air. Well, I will say this, guys. We dodged a bullet, here in my town, Chatsworth, that we were supposed to get icy roads, frozen power lines, power outages, basically every service disabled. So all it did was rain, and it rained a lot, but the temperatures never got high enough to change that. But on the other hand, all the rain was gone. But last night or early this morning got down to 8 degrees. All right, let's see what we got. Hello from western part of Commonwealth. Okay. Wisconsin. Oh, Wisconsin. My brother lives in Wisconsin. Minus 40 degrees. That's retarded. I'm sorry. That's that's insane. 40 below. What are you doing? Well, okay. Sandy's originally from Massachusetts. Freaking fabulous. We're hitting 30 tonight. Okay. Yeah. 30 degrees this time of year seems like a warm spell, so to speak. All right, let me check. Hold on, I got to check my email. I don't know if you'll see this. I mean, I see it, but I don't know if it shows up on your screen. Oh, I'm checking my email. Okay. Okay, my friend Linda in the United Kingdom, she's having a hard time getting the view. But no, we get it figured out. Anyway, you look at it, guys. You're here live now. Man, this when I move right, it goes left. When I move left, it goes, it's just weird. I go up. Well, that part works. But this is just a thing. And to be honest, I threw up before I started this because this is my first ever show. First ever. And I know there's not live people, that I'm actually talking to, homeless people. But this is a Q&A session for everybody to maybe air some ideas, thoughts, opinions, that type of deal, which is fantastic. It's a teamwork that makes the dream work. If that's not a massive cliche. All right, let's check it out. Freaking fabulous. Thinking of sandy beaches, Mai Tais, and tropical weather as we think of to 30 below zero. Wow. Well, that sucks. I'll be thinking the same thing. Just knowing that. Hold on, I got to get a drink. My pipes are getting dry. Got some fruit juice. Dark Eye says, my daddy was from the Ozarks in Arkansas. I'm wondering if that's the same time when they made the show, The Ozarks. Good show. Oh, well, thanks, Margaret. I'm trying. This is an adventure, actually. It almost seems like I feel more comfortable doing the live thing. I want to try to do this like every Tuesday. The time slot, 7 o'clock, it doesn't work for everybody. I mean, that's just the deal. I'm in 20 different time zones, and it's not the same. I can't. It's just not possible. It's just impossible. Okay, Brittany Judkins, she had asked, do I have a pee box? Yeah, it's the toilet. A P.O. box. Yeah. I'll give it to you right now. A lot of this is available also in any video. When you hit more, it'll give you the description. But Brittany, if you've got a pen, my P.O. box is, my name's Daryl McKinney, and it's P.O. Box 111 Chatsworth, Georgia, Chatsworth, Georgia, 30705. That's pretty awesome. Thank you for considering. You got some work to do. Shylock says hello. It's like, hey, Shy. I have taken all your tips and tricks for propane, and I've gotten some of the items for the homeless here in Nova Scotia. Wow. Judy Boynan. How awesome is that? In Australia. But oh yeah, the propane trick is fantastic. But here in the U.S., it's technically illegal, and I'll tell you why. I can fill them for personal use. Let me fix this again. I can fill them for personal use, but it's illegal to transport them. So I could fill 10 cans, which I routinely do, but I can't drive them 3 miles. But see, I think there's more details involved in that particular law that says you can't transport it across straight lines and or for sale for profit. I don't profit anything. I give them. Matter of fact, I lose money. And if you want to be honest about it. But all right, well, that's the deal. Thanks, man. Nova Scotia, make it happen. All right, freaking okay. Deborah Howard says I'm doing great work. Thanks for all you do. Whatever happened to Doug? Doug's still in the van and he's still in the parking lot. He moves every week. It's I don't mean to laugh, but it's like, my God. I helped the guy raise like $2,000, and there he is. Nothing has changed except for the car's legal. He got his insurance. Let me fix this again. He got his insurance and new tags and whatnot. When I met him, his tags were 2 years expired on his license plate. Okay. Dark eyed. Okay. Well, I don't know, Amy, about Annetta being such a user. I mean, do you really think that she doesn't want to deal with me? That makes no sense. That's another thing I was going to say. Let's try to make the comments professional and whatnot. If you've got a beef with me, if you've got an issue, if it's not cool with what I said, hey, I can be an asshole. Trust me, I get told about it all the time. But if you got something you want to say, but if your option is to want to share it with the world to see how many likes you get, why don't you just send it to my email? That way we can have a one-on-one discussion instead for the whole world to see. You see a couple of videos and you're like, oh, yeah, this guy's a dick. I got to cancel that screen. Just my thoughts. So, all right, let's see here. Yeah, Maria, definitely helped Doug quite a bit. And I would go there more often. I see him there all the time when I'm looking for Annetta or Ronald or, Teresa. The thing is that he's not one for conversation. I'm sure people can see that. Okay. Dark Eye says, whatever happened to the young guy that got into trouble with firecrackers? Oh, that was Malik. Yeah, he had got a motel room at kind of, I guess you could say, one of the crappy hotels in town, but yet it's shelter. Anyway, his boss was a congressman, and he got a job at his restaurant. The congressman owned a restaurant, and he was working there for quite a while. And then he went back to Texas, where he's from, and he got arrested before he could come back. So, yeah, that's Malik. Yeah, good call there. I haven't talked to him in a while. I can't believe I can even remember that. Douglas is one of them you can only help so much. That's right, Chad. I mean, you can only do so much for a guy. You know, Sandy says, I'm only one human. Yeah, well. Hey, Amy. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you've seen them. I propose an idea from Gearhead. Stop being so interrogational with every single person about every single issue. Sometimes just be more like Just Nate. Well, you know what? I've seen Just Nate. Yeah, that's great. If you like Just Nate, watch him. The reason why I question people is to figure out the best way I can serve them, the best way I can help them in any way, shape, or form. If I said, hey, where are you living? What are your conditions? You got this, you got that, etc. This is to amplify, what I can do for them. People think like he's not in court. This isn't an interrogation. It's a couple questions. You got to relax, buddy. Oh, Milford. Yeah, Charlie. You've seen, well, it's been over a year now. I would say probably, well, yeah, about a year and a half. Anyway, she left her treatment center for alcohol and she went to live with her mom. And what happened was, it was actually her sister's house, but her mom lived there with her sister, but in the basement of the house. And she was going to college. Charlie was. She wanted to be a social worker. And I was like, oh man, that's fantastic. I got her that computer. Well, actually, Darlene did in Texas. And oh man, that was so long ago. Anyway, I haven't heard from her. She doesn't respond to her emails. There's not a lot of people that have a lot of input on, what's going on. All right, let's see here. If I don't question what they need, you end up giving them a bunch of stuff. Thanks, Dean. That's exactly my point. It's like, hey, man, you want a toothbrush? And they're like, dude, I don't have any teeth. It's like, you want some soap? I don't even shower. I don't use soap. Not till the springtime when I can go in the creek. It's like, what the hell? It's easy when people are sitting behind closed doors, at a computer, at a keyboard. They can say anything they want without anybody caring, But at the same time, it's like, try this. Try yourself. See what results you get. Mr. Adam's apple. Hold on a second here. Let me move this guy. Mr. Adams Apple says I kind of remind him of Pete's Promise. Your mannerisms are similar. Oh, okay. But, I might come off as rude and like a dick and abrupt and et cetera, et cetera. My point is to try to get to the root of the problem. And it's like, okay, I'm tired of the rehearsed comments of, oh, it got stolen. Oh, somebody cut it up. Oh, somebody caught it on fire. Oh, come on, man. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Of course it does. But we gotta come off that one. That is street excuse number one. It got stolen. Well, you know what? You want to know what I find weird about that? I'm fixing my power cable here. What I find weird about that is that, oh, everything got stolen. But when they have something cool that they want to show me and they say, oh, hey, I found this. You found it? Oh, yeah, it was in a dumpster. It's like, oh, okay. It's it's not one of them are ever going to say, oh yeah, I broke into dude's tent, stole his backpack, got his wallet, ID, everything else, and now I sold the backpack for $5 or a pack of smokes, whatever. It's just, I've been doing this 2.5 years, and I've been a sucker. I really have, which actually takes away from you, the viewer. In my opinion. Just saying. Okay. Uh, remember what you first started. You have done so much in the past 3 years. You are a blessing. Thank you, Sandy. You can get stuff from you and just sell it if you don't keep track of what you give them. Well, Janice, I don't know about that. Everything I get, I give away. There's no doubt. I don't need it. It's not for me. Chad, yeah, Amita Greater Works, awesome. I wouldn't mind meeting you guys. Fantastic. Yeah, email me. Yeah, we'll make it happen. I'll let you know. I like watching your videos. Please do not poke fun at any more raccoons. All right. The only thing is on the raccoons. My neighbor gave me a raccoon trap. So I set it up and I got a little baby one, like a medium-sized kitten. Then I got a big daddy, not last week. I bring him to the woods. And then I hear it from, it's illegal to trap and release them into an unfamiliar environment. I'll tell you what, they're not going to be a familiar environment for my frickin' garbage can. That's all I got to say. All right, Sandy, I'll tell my mom. Hold on. I saw Big Dale coming to you not long ago. Are you back on good terms? Well, L. Bart, not necessarily sure about Dale. He's always been an opportunist. But come to find out, Annetta said the other day that he's got a job and he's driving a forklift at some factory of somewhere. We got tons of those in town for sure, no doubt. But I won't say we're on good terms. We were really never on bad terms. But what I can't stand now, I'm sure you guys can appreciate this. When, let's say you're in line at the gas station, the grocery store, and you want your personal space. You stand, I don't know, 3 foot behind the person in front of you and 3 foot in front of the person behind you. But you have no control over the person behind you. And they keep scooching up and scooching up and scooching up, which makes you take a step here and there. It gets uncomfortable. And that's exactly what happens with me. It's like the minute I pop my trunk, it's, oh, hey, I need that. It's like, well, you didn't even know I had it. Why don't you tell me what you need? I'm not going to give you just a miscellaneous random amount of stuff. That makes no sense. Would you do it? Probably not. I mean, if somebody sent you 100 packs of peanuts, and never mind, that's a bad example. All right, I'm going to fall behind if I don't start catching up. Okay, Milford, I'm not sure about the locals. I know of quite a few. Chad, I went on the meetup. Okay. Oh. Hi, Christina. Thank you. No, that's totally cool. I couldn't do this without you guys. Maybe I started with $20 that actually I got from my stepson. He sent me $20 on my PayPal. And that's when I got a case of water and a box of chips. And this was 2.5 years ago. I think August 14th or so is the very first video. Well, let's go a week past that because those were kind of like still frame, pictured things. It's not videos; they were just still shots in a sequence. But all right, cool. A meetup should be scheduled for June. I'm down with that, Femdog. Yeah, I know, right? All of us that watch that would be good video to post on your tube might be a 4-part video or something, but it would be cool. Yeah, there's some videos. I'll tell you what. Hold on. Grape juice. I love grape juice. Anyways, uh, yeah, June's a great time, but now we're talking from where we used to live, well, where you live and where I used to live, we're talking 1,000 miles. So, but oh, that'd be totally awesome. All right, meetup schedule. Okay. Yeah, Chad, you're right, man. Many of these could be. See, the main thing is here's the deal, guys. I get reports every month from YouTube and all these professionals that say, "Hey, I can fix your channel," etc. And they say, when I get analytics on a video, and it'll say your average viewing time was 12 minutes 18 seconds out of a 20-minute video. So they're not completing the video, so they're missing out on a third of it. 12 out of 18, 2/3. So a third of it's gone. They're like, okay, whatever. On to whatever. But oh yeah, I could have some super long videos. I've got at least 10 hard drives right now, 10 at least, full of videos since I started. Ungodly amount of terabytes and it's a mess. All right, let's move. Catch any more raccoons from the silo. My battery's low. What are you talking about? Oh, cock and balls. Sorry about this, guys. What the hell? Can you hear me? Are we still on? I don't even know if you guys can hear me, but I'm trying to figure this out here. This is part of the reason why I said expect some growing pains. First time ever. I don't know why the battery would die. I mean, it's totally plugged in. Never had this problem in a year and a half. All right, let me check the audio. Well, maybe you're hearing it. I don't know.
It's going. It's fine.
You can hear it?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Well, that's bizarre. I can't hear it. All right, let's get back to some questions. Sorry about the delay, guys. It said my battery was low on my laptop. A little alert popped up. I had to go get the backup charger to plug directly, and it's a long story. All right. Thanks, Pink. All right, Judy. That's fantastic. I'm glad. Sorry about the delay, man. Once again. All right, Janice, no problem. Good deal. Dark Eyes and University of Massachusetts Amherst. That's pretty cool. We have been chatting and can hear you fine. Thanks, Sandy. All right, let me go back down. It's working. I can't hear as long as the microphone. Well, there's nothing to hear besides myself. And I guess if I hear myself, check out my visitor. Come here, you fat bastard. I'm going to get you. There we go. Are you good, boy? You want to go on the road tomorrow? No, you don't. He hates getting in my car, but my mom's car, he's all about it. All right, let's get to some more questions. Hit that like and subscribe. Thanks, Judy. Yeah. That's the deal. My subscriber count hasn't changed in about a year and a half. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, all right. Yeah, that's the brewmeister for sure. Oh, he's great. Bruno's awesome. Yeah, he's handsome. He's a handsome fella. He's just hanging out, seeing what's up. Want to go outside? Yeah, that got his attention. He pees more than I do, which is quite a bit. Every 15, well, not literally, but yeah, he don't want to die. He don't want to ride in your car because he seems that you give so much away out of the car. He's scared you might be next. Oh, dude, that's great. That's awesome, dude. No, he ain't going nowhere. And back when I first started, I was doing a lot of I'm always twist this the wrong way. I'm disoriented. I'd let him out, and he'd randomly just wander off, and start, snuggling up to next everybody. His tail never stops moving. He's always happy. And I was like, man. Then I got the shit for, control your animal. If he bites somebody, you're done. Here he is again. Yeah, we got a cable hooked up. Right now it says 31 degrees. We dodged a bullet, man. I got to say, I'm very happy. You know, our biggest thing is if we lose power. All right, let's continue. Hold on a second here. Emails. All right. Let's go back to the video. Did anybody see that screen change? I'll do it again. I'm going to go back to my email. And I don't think this changes anything you see whatsoever. See, I'm new to this. So I have to go by what I see, I guess you could say. All right, let's go with that. When you visited that family in the trailer and that many was dying, that was so sad. Okay, Dark Eye. I think I know what you're talking about. That's probably the Hudson family. And boy, do I got milked on that. This was when I was just a few months in, and it hasn't been anything other than, you know, give, and it's like mad when I don't, you know, bailed their daughter out of jail, you know, on my own money, which is limited. That's totally limited. But that's a whole nother story. Please take a second and tap the like button and get. Oh, well, thank you, Sandy. Snow for Georgia over the weekend. That's what they said. Yeah, we didn't get well, we got a couple flakes, but it never got cold enough to stay or stick, which is a huge bonus. They still closed everything in town, as many people could tell you. Chat, there's a heart on the bottom of the screen. Tap on it. They were something else. No one knew you bought children Christmas gifts. The man was so frail from cancer. Okay, I'm not sure on that, on who you're talking about there. How about the young girl and her mom in the van? Okay. Samantha and her mother, I can't remember her name. It was slightly different. But the story is on that. I spent hundreds of dollars fixing their car in the Walmart parking lot. Matter of fact, got threatened to be kicked out by the Walmart, you know, management. Police were there, and that was to do a wellness check on her mother, Samantha's mother. She's only 20. And she's got a TikTok channel, and I don't, you know, it was just weird. Anyways, they've been selling dope for a long time, you know, and that's pretty much why she hit the pole that ruined her truck in the first place. All right, I don't want to say much more on that. Yeah, the girl in the van, Max. Yep. And her mom. Yep. There was a girl in jail for going to jail for attempted murder. Kimberly, I'm not sure on that. Heather. Yeah, Heather. Yeah, she's in jail for life. That was true. If we're talking about the same person, she attempted to murder. She's not in jail. Her husband is. Wow, that's bad. Yeah, Heather's dad was dying, stepdad actually, but no, he passed, about several months. Getting down to 3 degrees after midnight, Mr. My Channel says. And hey, Earl, do you ever get nervous sometimes when they all? Yes, I do. You don't even understand. It's going somewhere. Just try it sometime. just walk into your grocery market and approach a stranger and say, "Hey, man, how you doing?" They'll be like, "What? Get away from me." But yeah, I like groups of one, two, maybe three. But when there's 10 or more, unless I know them, and a lot of the ones that are in big groups like that, like at the Walmart or at Greater Works, I've seen and helped on many occasions. So, I'm not overly stressed about it. But when they lurk behind me and peer into my trunk just to decide on what's free and what's for me, what's free is what's for me. Why not? I can get $2 for this. Not saying that's the case, but it's real. It is real. Spectrum here is messing up my phone. Okay. Good evening, so kind to you, Miss Christy. Thank you, Miss Christy. It's Jamie from Florida. Well, Jamie, I got to tell you, I've never done a live. This is the very first ever. I had a power thing here with my laptop, so I had to take a few minutes to figure that out, but we're good. Yes, I did get a tag blazer. Yeah, that was bizarre. I was going up into the woods in a very similar spot, which I've been to before. I'm dry. I was going into a very similar spot that I've been into many times. And the problem is that I've been up there so many times, I don't hit the record on my camera because my camera sits right about here, roughly. I hit the button and it starts recording, good to go. But I wasn't recording because I wanted to find something interesting with less battery usage and that type of thing. It just makes sense. Point is that had my back turned and two dudes never seen before or since knocked me over, tried to take my camera, but it was attached. It's got this heavy duty clip that snaps into the harness. And they were like, "Where's your phone? Where's your wallet?" Both were in the car. I was like, I don't know. And they were like, "Dude, he's wearing a camera." And they ran off. So that's the end of that. That's why I'm not going into the woods no more. Unless I have an escort, somebody I feel that I can trust, and those are few and far between. All right, let's get to the next one. Yep, Sandy, you're right. That's why I don't go back. Just to let you know, I dinged your phone like 10 times and emailed you a few. Okay, my channel. I'm checking my. I got. Yeah, well, my phone's right here. Oh, Jamie. Okay. Go to Costco. I'm in your live, man. To me. Oh, that's Jamie. Okay. Well, that's a different than the email that I got or the message I got. All right. Let's see. I don't know what's going on here. Hey, Kimberly, I think Annetta is with Dale, but she won't admit it. He won't admit it, but they're soul partners, I guess you could say. Okay. Thanks, Gail. Well, I've been a very kind person to some. Did you pepper? I don't have time. Those dudes, they blasted me into a giant bush, and I had to struggle to get out of it. And then they were gone by then. It's like, I have it to this day in my pocket. Hold on, I'm getting alerted. Let me hit my inbox. Okay. Oh, my friend Linda, she chimed in from the UK. She does similar stuff like what I'm doing, but in the United Kingdom, which is fantastic. There's one place on my bucket list I want to go is the UK, well, and Australia, not either or. Ooh, tough decision on either or. Both. All right, let's get to it. Let's see here. Yeah, Miss Christie, you're right. I have to watch to be safe. Yeah, I don't know what these people are capable of. I don't know if they have mental disabilities or attack, you know, just random people. I don't know. That's the whole gig. And yeah, it can be a little I was pissing myself when I went to talk. One of the first person I ever talked to on the street was Annetta sitting on a parking curb with a bald head because she got hit by a car and they had to shave her head to do skull surgery. And you know, I was peeing myself. I'm like, what the hell? But all right. I'll check my email again. Right now, guys, we got 140 viewers seeing this, for the first time. Everybody be able to see it over and over. This is obviously recorded, with YouTube, and it'll be just a regular video to watch at any time. The only difference is that you won't be able to participate in the live chat, but the normal stuff down below. And I guess we'll wait a little bit more. That's fantastic, Chet. Hold on a second. Let me go. Okay. Yeah, I thought so too. Oh, I think so, Chad. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, Judy, tell them to hit the like button. What the hell? Don't be shy. Yeah, Linda's from across the pond. She's cool. Sometimes people are so rude in how they ask for things. Does it discourage me from helping? This is from Gail. Well, I will say this. I take a moment of pause when it comes to people saying, I need this, this, and that, knowing that I have it. Because a lot of times, let me refresh this on my email. A lot of times it's like, oh, hey, man, to their buddy, where'd you get that sleeping bag? Oh, from the guy in the Honda. And it's like, yeah. And then they walk over and it's like, hey, you got any sleeping bags? I'm like, I've never met you before in your life. How would you know that I even asked for a sleeping bag? Nor do I know your name, anything about you, so I can best try to help you. You just seen that your buddy got a sleeping bag, so now you want one. Well, it makes sense. It's like with the cigarette packs. Sandy, Femdog, and then Darlena in Texas. She sent me a ton of the brown, cigar style. And Sandy sent a bunch of the packs of the regular Kings and or menthol, both actually. But I separated those and put them in the little, sandwich Ziploc bags to hand out individually. And it's like, first question, got any smokes? Got any smokes? Got any smokes? You've seen it. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. My mom's doing great, Sondra. Oh, my knee's doing much better. I can actually, I can almost get off the toilet without using two hands. That's, well, kind of weird. Didn't mean to share that, but that's the facts. All right, let's see here. back to Gail's question about sometimes people are so rude. It's like, well, that is true. And it all goes by the word of mouth because I actually live in a pretty small town. My town especially is super small. 5 miles away, it opens up as huge. 135,000 in the county, 40 in the city. You know, tons. But I don't see half the homeless people that I used to, which is good. I think. It only makes sense. But Shylock says Smith and Wesson. It's like, oh yeah, for my defense mechanism in the woods. It's like, yeah, you want to catch a case? Yeah, that's cool. All right, hold on a second. Chad says, hey, I noticed that you put on some weight. I go, well, that's the camera. telling you that. I weigh the same as I did 3 weeks ago, but I have been going to the gym with my stepson. It's been pretty productive. I need to put on weight. I lost over 70 pounds, not by choice. Not by choice. I had a metabolic disorder. No more on that right now. All right, let's see here. Christy in North Carolina, welcome. She's been watching from the beginning. Hey, did you get pounded with the icy rain? Because we didn't get a cubelet of icy rain. We had rain and then it froze, on the ground or the car. But that was only like 12 hours. But all right, cool. Oh, hey, Chad. Well, no, I appreciate that. I feel better. There's no doubt. I could walk around without falling over. Man, my equilibrium, something was going on. But it's an electrolyte issue. There's many things. Boy, I've been to the doctor 15 times. But all right, guys, I guess we'll hang out for another minute. And I wish I could put a different screen up for you guys to see, but you see the webcam and I see the webcam unless I change screens and then you don't see the difference. You don't see the change. So I could keep talking and et cetera, and nobody would know the difference. But I guess that's just kind of the way it goes. But this is the first live show, man. This is pretty cool. Yeah, I had a little issue there on the charging, but that's minor. Chris Stick says she makes homeless mat from grocery bags and wonder if you've ever seen them before. Yes, we did get a bit of ice and snow. Okay. Okay. You might have to send me more on that, Christy or Christy C, whichever it is, to my email. What if this was you at Gmail? I'd like to understand more about that. And Pi 73, Doug's still in the van. He hasn't went anywhere. It's about the 8th question on him, but no, that's fine. Do you remember your first video, man, and how long it was? Holy cow, Pi. Yeah, that was, wow, what a spell. My first actual interview ever with an actual human being was the dude at Walmart. And so, which at that point was my body cam and my dash cam all in one. I had to change them around, take them off my chest, put it on the dash, and go from there. But let's see here. I have made them as well, and it would be awesome to send them to. Okay. Yeah, that's funny though. My first video, boy, that was it seems like, well, tell the truth, it seems like yesterday, but we're going on 3 years. We're closer to 3 years than it is 2.5. That's pretty amazing to me, man. That's surprising. Behind me here, we got my mom's entertainment center up here with the blue light. That's just I gotta go backwards. It's the internet wireless modem, which is pretty cool. Bruno sitting by the door patiently waiting for me to let him out. But yeah, we'll give it just a few more minutes, man. Let's see what we got here on some messages. Nothing wrong with trapping raccoons and letting them loose if he has to live with. Used to live with two with my first husband. We got from the store. Did you check for pets and pets for homeless? It's like, well, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I got a nice raccoon here. Call me Dark or Requiem. Okay. All right, Dark. Dark's easier. Here's pretty soon, man. You should be hearing or earning a YouTube plaque award. Man, I wish. I need 100,000 subscribers to get a plaque. And I got 10 in like 90 days. I'm like, oh, this probably won't take long. But here we are, 14, 2 years later. I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. I get messages from all kinds of these YouTube influencers that say, we can optimize your channel, create better titles, new thumbnails for your videos. And it's like, yeah, it's like only, $129 a month. It's like, what? That's half my earnings in 1 month. I'm on track right now to make $331.18 for the month of January, which I won't see till February 21st. Not bitching, but it's like, hey man, you're not going to get much done on that kind of loot. Barely pays for gas, honestly. Yeah, you got to spend money to make money. There's no doubt. But see, making money is not my business. It's. Well, thanks, Judy. And I've been trying to do that from the beginning. And when people comment, they want me to, a lot of people want me to coddle feed and hold them like they're little babies in the crib and, rock them back and forth and just give them whatever. Oh, here's some gift cards. You want me to buy you McDonald's? Would you like a new jacket? It's like bullshit. It's like, dude, what are you doing, man? You're holding on. You know what? This is no joke. No joke. I've talked to dozens of homeless people that hold signs, on a street corner, gas station, whatever. And they're like, oh, we don't leave unless we make at least $50. I'm like, dude, that's $1,500 a month. That's five times what I made last month. Put that in perspective. That's the facts. For their 2 hours of, panhandling, when I spend hours and hours and hours and sleepless nights trying to do this to help to help them. And like I said, it's not about the money. It's just about the subscribers. The money will come eventually, maybe. But the nice thing is that the videos are there for life. You can watch a video I made 2 years ago and I'll make a nickel. That's cool. But all right, let me see what else we got here. That's funny. You telling the truth about the young man you can't be like because and then it will expect it from it. Oh yeah, no doubt, Chad. Yeah, that's a mess. Oh, Bruno's awesome. Shay. Um, he's the best. Shay's in Austin. Man, I got people all over the United States. Different countries. That is fantastic. Why were you laughing at my comment? We did have 2 pet raccoons, and I trapped others years later. Oh no, Brenda, it's not a. I wasn't laughing at you. It was just. Oh wow, that's a lot to unpack. Um, well, yeah, if you got them as pets, that's great. There's a guy that I saw a video on that had like 100 raccoons on his porch at one time, and he was feeding them hot dogs all night long. And he's got like 100,000 subscribers. Like, what the hell for feeding raccoons? You know, I'm sure they're cool animals, but not when they tear my garbage up. That's the reason I, caught them, set a trap, let them go in the woods. That's really about all there was to it. Okay, Christy Sear or Christic. Yeah, Doug's pretty much the same. Living in the van. He's an unmotivated individual. He's like, he's a tough case to follow. It almost seems like when I go to see him, it's more of an inconvenience for him because he just wants to sit there and watch his YouTube from the Walmart or McDonald's Wi-Fi. That's why they park there, because they get the best. They get both worlds. Free McDonald's Wi-Fi, free Walmart Wi-Fi. And he's got 3 phones. I'm like, what? All right, guys. Here we are. What, about an hour 20? Close to it. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, Max. Doug's, he's a nice guy. Do you talk to Dean on a weekly basis as friends? I'm not sure, Kimberly, who you're talking about. Are you talking about? Oh, Dean Herndon. Okay. That's who you're talking about. He's a guy that's been helping us on our cookouts. When we do the hot dogs and chili, that type of thing. Occasionally, yeah, I talk to him a little bit, but man, he's got some serious things going on, which is not my liberty to talk about. So, but yeah, he's great. It was nice of you and others to help clean the van. Oh yeah, Max, that was a mess. Dean was there for that, and oh Lord, it's the same now. It's like, what? Oh. Okay, Shay, I think the veteran you're talking about by the park. Well, I know Ronald, he didn't have any legs. Unless you're talking about someone else. He's the one that can afford, he gets a check, a disability check. So he stays in hotels, quite often. Doug is Doug. He didn't want to change. That's right, Judy. You know, um, is it health? Okay. Hey, Kimberly, not so much. He actually said in a previous video that he's dying of cancer. So I don't think it gets much worse than that on a personal level. You know, to be honest, I hope I die before my mom does because I won't be able to deal with that. Try putting an at symbol before what if this was you? Okay, I'm not sure. Milkman John, I don't know what you mean by that. Oh, you're talking to Brenda. Okay, well, whatever happens. It was a day that Dale walked up and you didn't want to help when you all was clearing up. Oh, yeah. That pissed me off. Dude, I've given you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of stuff. Not my stuff, your stuff. And shirts, blankets, lunches every day for months, And he wouldn't give me 30 minutes of his time. He just walked off with the lunch, by the way. Oh, that tickled my crawl. Is that such a thing? Anyways, no, that wasn't cool. That's why I'm not a big fan. And then it's the same thing. He's the lurker that stands over my shoulder and looks into the trunk and says, "Oh, hey, I need this, and that." It's like, well, yeah, of course you do, because you just saw it. Was it there? Did you need it before you saw it? No answer. Lordy B. Hey, man, 151 viewers. I thought this would be 45 minutes. We're almost double that. I'm fine. It's cool. I don't know if this was asked, but what happened to the couple in the RV? Oh, yeah. That's a whole nother story themselves. That is I'm not even going to mention their names, but you know who she's talking about. Thanks, Gene. There's a long history of con artistry. Well, I guess when you're homeless, you got to be basically a professional. It's kind of just the way it goes. The early bird gets the worm, or the $5 handout. But oh no, they get a check too. There was drugs involved. There's a lot to the story that I don't want to share. This is from friends of their family, etc., etc. So, and what if this was you? Miss Brenda is asking if you received a check for pet food. Well, Milkman John, I don't know if when it was mailed and etc. I would definitely get hand warmers and some and for food, pet food. But unless it was just recently put out, no, I don't recall I've seen one. I'd have to know the address. I guess Brenda would have to email me so I know more about this, because I'll be looking out for it. Have you talked to female Charlie? Yeah. Well, no, not really, Lauren. She, she was in that rehab facilitation for I think it was a 60-day program. She got out, moved to her mom's. She enrolled in college. My friend Darlene in Texas sent money for me to get her. I got her a computer that she could get online. that way. But she said after the first month, they were going to give her another computer, and didn't hear from her since. I know she finished her treatment and then moved to her mom's, which is actually her sister's place, but her mom lives there in the basement, and her mom is very ill. So I'm not sure. I've been trying to email her, and it's just no use. Well, thanks, Chad. You know, yeah. I would like to do this every Tuesday, but the problem is the time frame. It's like, when does there's no good time for everybody. East Coast, West Coast, out of the country, 10 different time zones. It's not practical. So I figured on a lame ass night like a Tuesday would be, kind of neutral, if you will. It makes a lot of sense. Right, Miss Brenda, questioners receive job done. Okay. Thanks, Milkman. We're the couple with the lady that couldn't talk good. Oh, yeah. Hey, Pie. Same story on that. That's Cody and Chastity. They've emailed me back and forth and need this, and that, but every time you see their video, they're unboxing some new stuff from somebody. Anyways, I'm not really going to be working on that anytime soon. I can promise you that. Had high hopes for Charlie. Yeah, no doubt, Judy. I wish I knew more about it. I haven't physically talked to her. She had a phone, but she don't answer it. Well, I'll say it's not that she won't answer it. She can't because it doesn't work. Hey, Lauren. Yeah, Doug's all right. Well, same as usual, living in his van in the parking lot at Walmart. He'll leave every now and then, now that his car's legal and his tags are up to date. And that's just kind of the deal. It's like, and it wasn't even so much the fact, with Doug, he never really, I never really felt a great sense of gratitude or, like, hey man, thank you. I really needed this. No, it was like, oh, yeah, okay, thanks. Good. Just my thoughts. I'm not looking for a pat on the back, but I'm looking for a little more. It's like, oh, wow, you got me a hotel for 2 weeks. Are you freaking kidding me? From the anonymous one, he had a month, 2 weeks back to back, a month total. Anyways, enough on that. Doug might do well live streaming himself. Might bring some loot in. I agree, he would be subtle. I don't know about Doug doing a live stream. Sometimes I walk up to him and he barely seems alive. Hey, just a thought, just thought I'd go there. Yeah, he's one speed. Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah, first gear. All right, guys. Here we are at the 90-minute mark. I'm going to sign off for the night. I'm going to try to do this again next Tuesday. Obviously, there'll be more videos throughout the week, probably 2 or 3, because a week doesn't take long to go by. I'm sure, as you know, weeks, months, years. I'm like, what the hell happened? But, okay. Well, if you got any further thoughts, go ahead and hit my email. What if this was you at gmail.com. You know, same name as the channel. I tried to make it pretty easy, but you know, you just never know. But yeah, I'm digging the headset. My ears are getting sweaty, but you know, it's all good. All right, guys, we're going to sign off, and I will talk to you soon. And hey, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. You know, that was fantastic. All right, we'll talk soon. Have a good night.